Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone. You're listening to Chris the American Mag. We got Derek the Mighty Win, Gary Mon, Boki. I'm Bridget, and we are live on NUFC Talk. Newcastle United beat Forest 2-0 at St. James's Park, thanks to goals from Bruno Guimaraes and a penalty from Nick Voltemara. The win builds momentum, piles pressure, and Forest manager Ange Postecoglou, he is proper knackered tonight.
We are knackered.
Whose team now sits winless in 7 games. Voltemara continues to impress. He has now made history at Newcastle by becoming only the 3rd player to score in each of his first 3 home league games, joining club legends Les Ferdinand and Alan Shearer. But it's not all hunky-dory as the Mighty Wink would have you believe. Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall set to miss out for weeks now. It is concerning, of course, the Magpies, as we don't know how long we're going to be out without them, especially given our run of games. That's going to be knackering, of course. So stay tuned. We're going to discuss that with the panel. On the international front, Nick Voltemara will miss the beginning of Germany's squad, starting off that camp due to illness. He's got the flu, delaying his camp arrival. That's a key factor for Newcastle. We got a lot of games, so will he stay with us instead of going to Germany? We shall see. He's getting some rest now. Whether he's getting rest by having the flu, I don't know if that's actually rest, but I've been there, done that, and that's not good. It's just as the club looks steady, former manager Alan Pardew says Newcastle still have a massive chance at the title. We're going to take a look at what he said, calling our squad balanced and dangerous when firing in all cylinders. With England approaching a derby coming up with Wales Thursday, a game that you will be able to enjoy here on NUFC Talk 30 minutes before kickoff, Gary Neville thrashes the Union Jack. Is flying the Union Jack patriotic or provocative? Which one is it? What the heck is going on? We can't even fly our flags around here. Is that the case? This is Chris the American Mag, Derek the Mighty Win, Boki, Amrit, and Mr. Gary Mon. Let's get started.
The time is now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NUFC Talk. We got a goal, star goal, 10 super chats, all colors for the next 2 hours. Please do that, contribute and collaborate. And you can do that, of course. Hit the $sign so you can donate to the channel if you see fit. Gift memberships away or become a member yourself and go on from there. Don't forget to smash the like button, though. That's free. It doesn't cost a dime. How are you guys doing, fellas? All good?
Good. Always good after a win.
Always good after a win. That is actually very good. I want to get to some of you's takes on the game yesterday. We beat Forest. How did you see that win? Boki, we haven't talked about the game, have we?
No,
we haven't. So what did you take on the game, mate? What did you go to the game or were you not able to?
No, I wasn't able to go yesterday.
You weren't a proper fan then yesterday?
Fake fan yesterday. I watched it on telly, so Win won't believe anything I say about it because it's a complete different game on the telly. But no, good performance. I don't think there was anybody who sort of let themselves down yesterday. Even the left back, they were all sort of in tune with each other. It wasn't the greatest of games. It wasn't what I expected in regards to. I thought we maybe would completely dominate Forest, which we didn't. But I think part of that was down to the way Forest set up. But at the end of the day, before the international break, all we needed was a win and we got it. So good result. Go into the international break on a positive and then hopefully get a few players back after it and move on from here.
Right. Very good stuff there. Amri, what do you make of the game?
Yeah, so the game was, I enjoyed it. I think the first half, a little bit of fatigue was in there. I think, we we didn't play as fluid as we could have done at times, but overall, echoing exactly what Boki was saying, a win is a win, and in the Premier League these days, nothing's a certainty. Um, Even Nottingham Forest, the score predictions prior to that across the board, you were talking 4 nils, 5 nils. But looking at it, look, it's a win. It doesn't matter whether we perform ultimately to the most important thing is that we've got that 3 points on the board and we can kick forward now, moving in the right direction.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's open up the conversation. So, any last thoughts on yesterday's game? I know some people want us to, for some reason. I'm looking at the chat. I don't know what's happening. I guess they're expecting World War III to erupt or something. I'm not sure, but they're expecting us to talk about a certain topic, which we will. There's a reason why we brought it up because we were going to talk about that. But the game just happened yesterday. So, any last thoughts on that, Gary Mon? You're happy clapping as usual. Mighty win, happy clapping, of course.
Oh, of course, because we won. But I'm happy to see what they're doing because you got to remember they're adapting to a new system, and now that Voldemort has changed everything. So now he's got
Yes.
his two wingers and he's got Voldemort as that focal piece, um, I'm just happy that we're winning and we're playing reasonably well because the team is far from full strength. Wissa, when he comes back in, it's going to make a huge difference. It's going to have a massive impact. So we're kind of like, in a way, we're still not quite there yet, and we're not firing on all six because we haven't got the proper full team out. But if we're picking 3 points up, you can't complain. And I'm seeing aspects now of our play that's really pleasing me. I mentioned it yesterday. All this one-touch stuff is delightful to watch, and it's going to when you start playing like that and you get it off really well, you're going to get through any defense. I mean, you look at teams like Barcelona and when they start playing all that one-touch stuff, like Messi used to do, you're going to unlock any defense because you can't defend against it. So I think this season we've got absolutely loads to look forward to. I think it's going to be an exciting season.
I think what you said about Walter is very spot on. He's going to become more or less like Tonali, which we need him to play good. And it's not the simple way of looking at it is like, yeah, he's the striker. He scores, so duh, we need him. But
He's not actually,
he's
you
going to
know.
be crucial to our gameplay. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, no, crucial. It's going to have to revolve around him, and that's you were talking in the chat yesterday about him communicating with the wingers, bringing the wingers in. But I think what's even more important is that people like Tonali and Bruno give him the support. Right, let the wingers bomb on, and let Tonali and Bruno get closer to Voldemort so he can lay the ball off to them so they can put the wingers through. And that's what they've got to, I think, perfect now. In Joe Linton too, is when the ball's pinned to Voldemort, you've got to have people there, left and right of him, that he can lay it off to. And if you've got Gordon and Alanga bombing on behind the defence, then they're putting balls through, then you're not going to stop we're going to be in on goal all the time. And you cannot stop that, other than have two people marking Voldemort constantly, which is going to just free up space.
I think the difference with Voldemort at Isaac is Voldemort is more of a team player. If you watch him, he wants to get involved in play. He wants to set up.
Yeah,
He's happy. He's not just a goal scorer. He's wanting to set up other players as well.
he'll admit that, Bogey.
He's
He's admitted it himself. He prefers doing that than actually being up in the penalty area scoring goals.
100%, and that could be a good thing for the team in that once they get used to that and they get confident with the lad, they'll start getting themselves in positions to score goals as well, which is really what we need. I mean, he's proved that himself. I mean, I didn't just look at his penalty yesterday. If you look at the chance he had, a couple of chances he had, he never let us down in regards to chances. He whacked the ball with one, and he is in there and he's getting the chances in, but he's also willing to play as a team player as well. I think if he keeps going like that, it's a hell of a combination up front we've got. If you've got Gordon on the left, Langer on the right, and him up front, and they're all working together to set each other up.
With Wissa, I mean, it's just going to be devastating. I think teams would be terrified to face those four. How do you stop them? I mean, how can you stop them?
But with that being said, you're gonna have to take somebody out, and that's the decision that people are not taking in consideration, and it's probably gonna be Eddie Howe's hardest decision because he holds some of these players close and dear to his heart, and that decision right there is gonna be harder than actually putting Wizza in. So who is he going to take out? That's the issue. I think
it's going to have to be Joe Linton.
Well, I would agree, but then you get people like Wynn that says Joe Linton is essential and needed in midfield.
Is he more essential than Tonali and Bruno?
The hell to the no.
J7 will have his place. Various games.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, but Eddie will sort it out. I've got complete trust in him. He knows what he's doing, and I mean, me, I'm on the same side as Win here. Like, I back Eddie 100%. So
100%.
Yeah, 100%. He's and even if things he tries don't work out, I'm still with him. Because
every day.
If he doesn't try them, then he won't know, and he won't find out.
He's learning on the job. Come on, man. What the heck is going on?
Eddie Howe all day, every day.
Come on, man. We can't. At some point, he's going to have to. By the way, I forgot to use this button. It's going to be one of my favorite buttons of probably this whole season, maybe beyond that, which is this one right here. I just do a special shout out to a club that bottled it this weekend.
Liverpool.
Come on, give me the laugh.
You start wearing a little dicky bow tie whenever you press that button.
That guy is hilarious when he does Man United as well. It's unbelievable. That's my favorite button. Did you guys hear what? Oh, by the way, breaking news: Nick Voltemata, as I said earlier in the headline thing, that he's got the flu. Is he going to join Germany? He's destroying our plans, man. We're supposed to have the Germany watch on Friday, and if he's not there, I'm not watching Germany by itself. So we will have to see. That's an interesting one. He's got the flu though, man. He performed well to having the flu. That's crazy.
I'd just like to say hello. Let me say hello to Ian Fleming because I always say hello to him in the chat.
Shout out to Ian Fleming in the building. Ian Fleming, we know very well. So shout out to all of you out there. And
Ian Fleming, by the way, Chris, who forgot to put his score in for Forest.
Oh, I forgot to put his score in.
He's lost his place at the top of the league.
You can't do that, man. You cannot do that. So we will see if Voltemata will join. With the flu, though, it's going to be nah, probably not. It takes about a week and a half to get over it, really. And so we'll see. Did you guys hear what Pardew said about Newcastle? I mean, it is crazy.
Only because you told us this morning.
Well, let's go and take a listen to the whole thing, to the whole conversation.
I watched the interview. He has got a point.
Well, let's go and let's take a listen to Alan Pardew and what he had to say on TalkSport today.
Obviously, your former club Newcastle, of course, was involved in the saga of the summer with Isaac and his potential, which became an eventual move to Liverpool.
Which I did predict.
Yes, you did indeed. We got to talk about the big man who scored a penalty today, Nick Voltemade, the German.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, great pen. I was there watching it, and my wife was like, "He's going to miss." I said, "I'm telling you now, the big man is scoring, and it's going to be an absolute screamer," and it was. I think he has got the potential now, especially with the way that Isaac went, to be the he has got the potential now, especially with the way that Isaac went, to be the new hero, the new Toon Army hero. He's got something about. I really do like him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like his sort of personality,
Swagger.
his persona.
Yeah.
On the pitch, he's almost like, okay, Isaac was great, but now I'm here.
Yeah.
He's giving out those vibes, isn't he?
Let's go over
like
to
the sound of
let's go to a Newcastle fan who was at St James's Park today, who's probably seen you in the dugout a few times. Richie, how are we, Richie?
Hello, lads. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. We're talking about the big man now, the German, Nick Volter, mate. I really like him, Richie. What's the feelings towards him from the Toon Army at the moment?
He's, as you just said there, he's got the potential to be an absolute legend at Newcastle. The kid is, well, he is. He's a kid. Let's not beat around the bush.
23,
yes,
yeah.
He was the golden boot at the under-21s. He's got talent in abundance, and some of his interlink players just absolutely sublime. But like, what really, really impressed me today was, he had trips, and you would have Gordon come and take that ball and try and slot the penalty home. Today he stepped up and just grabbed the ball, kept hold of it, and to have the confidence as a new player, to come in, even as a young lad in a squad like that, to come up, step in front of the Gallagher, and I sit on the front row of the Gallagher right beside the goal, and you could just tell he had fire in his eyes. He stepped up there and battered it, top bins in the left corner. There was no saving it. What a penalty.
I think the commentator I was watching said 2 keepers wouldn't have saved that. Here's one for you, Richie. Nick Volter joins Les Ferdinand and Alan Shearer as the only players to score in their first 3 Premier League home games for Newcastle. Now, that's not bad company, is it?
Yeah, that's good company.
Nah, not at all. That kid, if he progresses on the trajectory he's at now, I think once he got 4 goals in 5 games, he's got it. He's got it there ready, made for him. The crowd already love him. He's got a song which he's never ever had, and he loves it. We love him. He loves us, and it's the start of a lovely bromance. And the other thing that really, really I'm loving is Isaac's gone to Liverpool, and the grass is not always greener where you go, Bonnie lad.
Yeah, that's true enough.
And I tell you what, there won't be many places you'll be loved more than at Newcastle. That's for sure.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Brilliant call. Thank you, Richie. Richie there.
And I tell you what, I was a little bit disappointed in Rummenigge's quotes this week about the fact that the English money have overpaid for this lad, and that Bayern Munich would never have gone to those levels. It sounded like real sour grapes. That.
Oh, that's exactly what Henry Winter was talking about as well.
Yeah,
I heard Henry.
Absolutely, and obviously Newcastle just picking up the speed a little bit. And they got Wissa to come back as well, who's going to be a massive help to them in terms of forward momentum. I think Newcastle definitely are in the shout for perhaps even winning the league. I know that it's hard to say that.
Whoa, Mr. Pard. You can't just drop a bomb like that on the show. You're tipping Newcastle to possibly win the league.
Yeah, I think they're definitely a contender. I do. When I look at the other teams, if I was Eddie with the squad he's got, and the momentum of he's got the crowd firmly on his side. I'm talking about the manager now. He's got enough tools in his little kit bag there.
Been together for a few years now. Yeah,
and they've obviously got the cup out of the way last year in terms of winning a trophy. Less pressure on them. I think they got a massive chance.
You know what? As I said, I was watching the game earlier, and I was watching it with my son Leo, and like Tonali, what a player. Yeah.
No, the midfield is. Only Liverpool can compete with their midfield. Their midfield.
And Arsenal.
I don't know. I think Newcastle's is better.
Really?
Yeah.
Newcastle are better at midfield than Arsenal?
The three that play in there. Tonali, Gamares. Who's the other one? I can't think of the name. What's his name? Come on, son. This is your game. Anyway, I'm definitely...
thinking that shell shot that you think they're better than Arsenal.
No, because when you look at the top teams, okay, Arsenal and Liverpool, on paper should be like.
Anyway, that was the whole thing there. So, what do you guys make of that? I mean, he's saying that our midfield better than everyone but Liverpool's, which is pretty steam company.
And then he can't name it.
And he can't name Joe Linton, which is odd, by the way. How can you not know Joe Linton? So.
We've been saying that since last season.
We've been the midfield, yeah, that's right. But the win in the Premier League, I think he got carried away there for a second. I mean,
I think it's a fair comment because there's nobody
I can't say
really
what.
tearing things up, and we're people or teams are playing with the best team that they've got. They're putting that sort of best 11 out, and they're not that convincing. And we've still got to pick up, and for a fact that all it takes is about a run of about 6 wins or something like that, and you're going to be right in among it. And we're more than capable of doing that. I mean, we play ourselves down sometimes, but I tell you, Newcastle, when this team is firing on all 6 and it's at full strength, they're going to be a sight to behold, I tell you.
Absolutely agree with Gary there, by the way, Chris. Looking at it, like, if you look at the top of the league, you've got Liverpool. Liverpool aren't performing. They're not. Their averages are here, there, and everywhere. You've got Arsenal, who, by all accounts, are probably the most consistent at the minute. You've got Man City, who can turn up and then sometimes don't. If we go on a run, as Gary said, if we go on a run, we haven't got the pressure of having to get silverware this year. We've got our silverware now. So it eases it a bit and gives us that stability to move forward. And Pardew's, isn't he? But what he said does have an element of hope to it, I would say. An element of hope. Because if
And back down to earth with me, there is no chance in hell we will win the league this season. Absolutely not.
Not good.
Hang on. This might surprise you because I'm kind of in Bogey's camp here.
You're out your mind.
The chance of us winning the league is remote, to say the least.
I'm not saying that we will, but I'm saying that it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
If Leicester City can win it in a season, anybody's capable if they put a run together to win.
Well, he did say at the end that we might be our Leicester. There might be a Leicester coming up, which I take that. I don't like that. I don't like that because we're not Leicester. We're much bigger than Leicester.
Two things for me, Chris. Two things is we're going to be playing a team that nobody's seen before, right? And this is all down to Voldemort and him playing in that pivotal role in the middle of the park behind Wissa and Lincoln the midfield and the wings, and it's a system that no team has played against yet, and it's something new. And I just see it working. It's going to be devastating, and I cannot wait for to see it happening because I think we're going to tear teams to shreds, and it's nice. It's all down to this role that Voldemort is playing because nobody's played that before, and it's something new. It's something fresh. It's something Eddie's got to reevaluate and how he plays the team, but get it right, and I just you're not going to be able to stop her. It's as simple as that.
I think the key right now is again going back to Walter Mata. I think he's going to be key, really. I mean, I'm looking at a chart here. Out of the new strikers, Hugo Ekitike is on top of him with 5 goals. Walter Mata has 4 goals in 7 games, though. Ekitike's got him at 5 and 10. Victor Gyökeres, 10 games, 3 goals. Sesko, 2 goals, 8 games. Joao Pedro, 2 goals in 9 games. So, I mean, Nick Voldemort, although we praise his link-up play and the way he plays, he's scoring as well. And he's scoring goals.
Remember, that is doubly impressive considering he actually isn't a striker.
He is a striker, man.
And by the way, he should have another one on Sunday.
He should have had 2 more.
Hadn't been taking the magic tablets.
He should have had four more goals. Would you believe that? Could you believe how crazy that would be? 4 extra goals he could have had.
Yeah, I've watched the game back a few times, and I'll tell you.
4 goals when what the 4
Nottingham Forest were lucky we didn't put 7 past them.
When you know where the 4 goals could have been?
Where the 4 goals could have been.
Yeah.
Surprised me.
Two yesterday. Remember, one hit the post, the other one
Oh, all right.
So that's 2 right there. So with the 2, and the other 2 could have been when Gordon.
Elanga against Villa, first 2 minutes of the season.
Well, that could have been another one. Also, I could have had more actually, because in Barcelona, if Eddie would have put a proper striker in Voltemara, Elanga could have passed him the ball and he could have scored. But also, if Gordon wasn't selfish, he could have given those 2 penalties to the striker. Could have had 2 extra goals there. You see, it's unbelievable. He could have been top of the. I mean, really, man, like 10, 11, 12 goals already. That would have been massive. But we do.
I know you can't discount penalties, but
we do got to have some selfish.
Did you happen to see Danny Murphy on Match of the Day?
Match of the day. They did talk about Baltimore. The Murphy lad talked about Baltimore.
It was lovely at the end of it when Danny Murphy sort of wound up his view of it, and he said, "Well, he says, I'll tell you, he says, there's nobody talking about Alexander Isak."
Let's go with Danny Murphy.
He's calm. He's composed. I love his interviews. He's taken it all in his stride. He looks comfortable. I love his moustache. He's got style. I love his hair. There's that passing accuracy I was talking to you about, which is incredible for a front man. Big chances as well, 3. When you play well and you're reliable, but you're also a goal threat, that's all you want. There's nobody in Newcastle at the moment who's talking about Isak anymore, and that's credit to him.
There you go. I love his mustache. He looks proper, man. He looks like a proper beast. Voltemara, Nick Voltemara. So yeah, I mean, I think he's got the flu though. That's crazy to me. That shocked me because I was like, damn, he played like that. And he had the flu.
Well, that's what 3 weeks in Newcastle does for you, mate.
Oh yeah, there you go. Let's finish up the game from the weekend with Eddie Howe's comments and also Nick Voltemara, who had the flu, and the reporter right there, he gave the reporter the flu and everything. Everybody's got to call off work now because of Nicky. So let's go and listen to Eddie Howe.
Yeah, it was a big effort from the players. That was a tough game. Delighted with the group, and now we've responded to the Arsenal defeat, which seems moments ago, really. But since then, we've got 2 massive wins and hopefully kick-started our season.
It looked like quite a frustrating first half. What changed after the break in your eyes?
I thought we played a bit quicker in the second half. I thought we were good in the first half. I thought we controlled the game, but I thought maybe a little bit too slow, too deliberate at times in our build-up. I thought we moved the ball quicker. I thought we asked more questions, made more runs in behind their back line. And yeah, great to see Bruno score. That was a big moment in the game because we had to be patient and keep concentrated. They had a lot of men behind the ball and were always a counter threat in the match. So Bruno's moment swings the game in our direction.
A few times this season we've talked about the need for patience at various points in the game. Was it fair to say you needed a bit of that today as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's one of the key qualities at home, especially if teams set up defensively and with a lot of men behind the ball, and their plans obviously to slow the game down and to almost make us impatient. We did well to control that side of our character and kept making good decisions. And I think eventually you get rewarded for that. And yeah, really pleased with 2 goals and another clean sheet.
Your last 3 Premier League games at St.
Well
James's
done, big
Park. That's 3 goals in your last 3 Premier League games at St. James's Park. It looks like you're enjoying yourself playing here.
Yeah, a lot. I love to play here. Really nice atmosphere. Really nice songs. Yeah, just the energy here. What you can get, even if you just do a sprint or something or go in a tackle. Yeah, they love that. And yeah, that's really nice to get some good energy on the pitch.
What did it feel like to have the fans singing your song as well as you came off, and a really nice ovation there and appreciation for your work today?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think if you score a goal and then they're all singing your name, it's really nice. And yeah, I really enjoy that. That's why I hopefully score some more goals here.
Quite a physical game today. I'm sure you've had different experiences of English football so far. You had to be quite patient at times as well. Did it feel like that on the pitch to try and break Nottingham Forest down?
Yeah, it was in the first half we didn't get so much good energy on the pitch, and we didn't come in our actions. In the second half, I guess we did really well. We got some good energy. We're sprinting, we're active, and I guess you could see it like second half. Yeah, there was just like the feeling that we were scoring goals, and then we did. And yeah, this first goal of Bruno was a key point today, and I guess we did it really well.
There you go. Joe Linton giving him a slap. So now Joe Linton's got the flu. Okay, now man, everybody out. So Joe Linton going to Brazil now, back in international form. It's been a while since he's been for Brazil, playing for Brazil. So Don Carlo called him up, and of course with Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali going to Italy. Sven missed out on the Dutch team, and here comes England, and we got to talk about it.
I think actually when he referred to the nice songs, I think he was talking about Wins songs.
Oh, my God. You don't want to show Wing songs, man.
Striker from Sweden, he's a centre forward and he plays in
Oh, what are you doing, man?
Give me a striker from Stuttgart, Alexander.
Proves
it was
those are the songs he was meaning. Those are the songs.
The songs this man has to look. Let's go back to another one.
Ferocious makes the opposition look pathetic and atrocious. If you sing this song with us, you really do support us. Super Shawnee Longstaff is terrific and ferocious. Diddle-I.
I think your next project, Win, should be to actually do a song of every player that's ever wore a black and white shirt.
I could probably sing a song for most of them already. I wouldn't need to do them.
Win, have some shame. How could you ever? And you dedicated songs to Longstaff, to all the controversial players, man. Come on, man. What about Tonali? You didn't create a song for Tonali. You sing the same thing that everybody else sings. Come on, man.
Win, I'll give you a challenge. You name any Newcastle player, and I'll sing you a song about them by the end of the show.
Ooh.
You can have a think about it, but any name, and I'll sing a song about them by the end of the show.
And we know what it'll be. It'll be a generic thing that everybody gets.
No. You name the player, and I'll put his name into a song.
Shola Amiobi.
Amiobi, what the?
Let whenever. One thing about Baltimore is, I think one thing he needs to learn is a little bit of the dark arts. I think he's too much of an honest player at the minute. He's being really honest in every game, and I think sometimes when he gets, because it is going to happen in the Premiership, when he gets to the clip or he gets the little hit from behind, he needs to start going down with it. He's a little bit too honest, which isn't a bad thing.
But it's also
in life, but on a football pitch,
it's not great.
But it could be weird as well. A big lad just falling down for no. It doesn't look good either. So that's probably why he doesn't do it.
The problem is, I mean, again, Sunday was a prime example. On about 3 occasions, he literally just stood his ground. And J7 has the same problem, by the way. Just stand their ground, and the referee awards a free kick to the opposition. It's crazy, man.
And that's to say the game he needs to learn, as I say, is the little bit of dog art. If he feels a little push in the back or a shove to go down.
Yeah. That is true. All right. So England coming up, ladies and gents, with Dan Burn and Mr. Anthony Gordon. Gordon can't take all the penalties for England. I know that's right. You're gonna be knackered. Who takes penalties for England?
Harry Kane.
Ooh, yeah. He don't want that smoke. He don't want that problem. He don't want that problem at all. So there's a controversy going around, and we usually stay out of politics, but I thought, this stuff is almost like it shouldn't even be a topic of discussion. Really, I think you can still discuss political issues, if you want to, and without having to take away other people's beliefs or how they feel, or shame people how they feel. We're going to get into a nice conversation here about what's going on, but I want to put some context into what happened. and is one of the biggest really pundits in English football right now. Gary Neville was once upon a time one of the biggest, a proper right back, a proper wing back of back in his day for Man United.
I better switch so it's the right way around. That's Brookie on the left and me on the right.
Well, we know right now Brookie is a centrist as it is. You put me on the left. Why you put me on the left? But nevertheless, we want to have a nice conversation on this show tonight about this particular case. And James Cove, Ian Fleming, they're not like it. Here we go. This is it. But listen, we're just going to have an open conversation because common sense doesn't seem like it's around anymore. And I have an issue with that. Here in America, in the UK as well. And it's across the borders to football. And I know tensions are high. You can cut the tension with just by looking at it. Everywhere in the world, really. Actually, not even everywhere in the world. Just in free democratic countries like the UK and the US. You tell me why it's a big deal in these countries. And in the countries where maybe it should be a big deal, it isn't. So we shall see what happens. So let us go with how this whole thing really broke the internet today on TalkSport with Simon Jordan, Jim White, but most importantly, Gary Neville.
Gary Neville has revealed that he removed a Union flag from one of his Manchester building sites because they are being used, quotes, in a negative fashion, according to him. The former England and Manchester United player defended a 3-minute video on spoke in a 3-minute video on LinkedIn, claiming the British public is, quotes, being turned on each other, whilst he also accused angry middle-aged white men of dividing the country by using the Union flag in a negative fashion. This was Neville.
I just kept thinking as I was driving home last night that we're all being turned on each other, and the division that's being created is absolutely disgusting. Mainly created by angry middle-aged white men who know exactly what they're doing. Funnily enough, on one of my development sites last week, there was a Union Jack flag put up, and I took it down instantly. And some people might be watching this and thinking, well, Gary, you're not very patriotic. I played for my country 85 times. I love my country. I love Manchester and I love England. But I've been building in this city for 15, 20 years, and there's no one put a Union Jack flag up in the last 15 to 20 years, so why do you need to put one up now? Because quite clearly it's sending a message to everybody that there is something you don't like. The Union Jack flag being used in a negative fashion is not right. And I'm a proud supporter of England, of Great Britain, of our country, and we're championing it anywhere in the world as being one of the greatest places to live. But I think we need to check ourselves. We need to check ourselves and sort of start to think about bring ourselves back to a neutral point, because we're being pulled right and left, and we don't need to be pulled right and left at all.
That was Gary Neville. We're about to go into an international break. We're in an international break, and his England will be playing, and we'll see the Union Jack, no doubt, the St George's flag being waved about here, there and everywhere. Simon, can the flag be unifying in football, but in other areas of society, divisive?
I think it's astonishing in the wake of an Islamist terror attack that he decides to have a go at middle-aged white men. Maybe the angry middle-aged white men are the ones that worked on minimum wage inside his hotel. I don't know. I think he's a champagne socialist and a coward. I think it's a dreadful thing to have said.
How is he a coward?
Well, I think the real issue is about radical Islamist extremism, and he doesn't have the balls to call it out for what it is, rather than suggest that people that are challenged in our country about what's happening, he's insulated from these things. He lives in a very rarefied world where his money and privilege has enabled him to live behind a gated environment, not have to worry about NHS appointments, not have to worry about people being attacked in the streets by immigrants that shouldn't be here in the first place. He doesn't have to worry about these things, and so he has the ability to be able to sit there and observe in such a way that insulates himself from it. And I think it's an appalling stance to have taken. He's entitled to his view. He's entitled to a view. We are quite happy to wave every other flag in this country, whether it's Palestinian flags, Ukraine flags, or any other flag that we feel that we're able to wave. But when you're talking about people in this country that have legitimate concerns and want to have a legitimate value set and push back against what they're having forced upon them, for Gary Neville to say what he's just said is the exact embodiment of what I said, which is a champagne socialist, which is insulated from the real world, and a coward, because the real issue is about some of the extremism that's going on in this country.
At this precise time in which we are living, do you think certain football fans will think twice about waving a flag?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you listen to ghastly ex-Labour MPs like Emily Thornberry, anyone that waves the flag St George's is a thug and a Luddite. You know, it depends who you want to listen to. I think you should be proud of your country. I think you should be proud of your country's flag. It only seems to be this country that seems to think that because there were a few people, a minority of people that want to adopt it and utilise it for the potentially the wrong reasons, that somehow it represents, it's like suggesting that every single time you have an issue with something in this country, you push back against the narrative of undocumented young males coming across into our country, you're a racist. There's nothing racist about that. It's having a concern and being able to voice it. And the politicians and people of influence in this country are not and have not been listening.
Emmanuel, you are a World Cup winner. How patriotic are you at this time about the French flag?
A lot. Well, if you see my whole family, we've been so dedicated to the French flag, and my whole family. I mean, cousins, they are in the army. I got a cousin as well working as teachers as well, national, education. So we've been dealing with the country for many generations. So my grandfather was as well part of the resistance. I don't know the word, during the Second World War. So we've been linked with France deeply, but as a patriot, not as nationalist people, which is for me the big difference. Of course, there is racist people in France. Of course, there is racist people in England. But for me, it's the minority of people. So if you try to mix different things and you put confusion into people's mind, and this is exactly what I don't like. We are living nowadays in our society. People are trying to divide us all the time. Trying to point finger at you because you love your country. This is something I've been witnessing, in France for years now. Recently as well, I've been very shocked about what I've seen on TVs. People are trying to be proud of the French flag, and all of a sudden there were people around them pointing finger at them, saying that you should be ashamed about your flag. I am in France. I'm a French guy. I love my country. So there is no reason why you're telling me I'm a racist guy because I love my flag and I love my country.
All right. Interesting. So, of course, this is not a politics show. So we're not going to get into the politics, too deep politics of that in a sense. But when it correlates to football, if I am during the World Cup, England is about to play. And I'm in England. And this hit me to the core earlier today. It's not the first time I've seen it, actually. I've seen it all the time. I've seen it in American football. I've seen it in American sports, now in English sports. And it is there. It happens. But for some reason, it got to me today because I served my country proudly for years. And I was deployed in South Korea, and I was I met a lot of Englishmen there as well. I met a lot of Englishmen, Canadian men from all over the world that are allies in America, in American bases. So, if to a service member, and really to any citizen that lives off the freedoms of these countries, I think it should feel bad that you're not able to, or you're called a racist because you simply want to have your flag out, you want to wave it, you're proud of it, you're proud of the country that you're from, and that alone being seen as racist, or that you are pro something that they disagree with, therefore you're an extremist. I think that in itself is an extremist thought. And again, a lot of you won't watch the channel again. A lot of you, I don't know, that doesn't really matter to me. I got my opinion, just like everybody else here in the panel has their opinion. I'm a Hispanic man born in Peru, but I know what the United States of America did for me. And you bet your ass I'm not going back to Peru. I'm only going back to eat food and hang with the family. I'm not going to live there again. So I know what it takes to be living in a country where you have nothing but gangs and, crime all over the place. So I know what it feels like to come to America and have freedom and fight for your freedom, to have a flag. What is the matter with that? What is the matter with having your flag and be proud of your country? When I was in Newcastle, we saw a lot of restaurants. I saw an Indian flag hanging around, and I didn't think anything of it. I just remember it was an Indian place, and I love curry. Amrit knows because he's made me some curry, proper curry, none of that spicy stuff, just proper, normal curry, good stuff. But I remember that right there. And I was like, how cool. There's an Indian place. We should go to it. But then again, we ended up eating curry somewhere else. But why nobody has an issue with a foreign flag, because it is a foreign flag, flying in the United Kingdom or anywhere in the free world, but they have an issue with somebody flying an American flag or an English flag or a UK flag. Why is that a problem? Why are you automatically a racist? Why? We got an Indian man here, Amrit, for example, who is Indian. His mom is Indian. Father was Indian. So, but they came to this country. Oh, well, I'm saying this, but obviously they're in England. They came to England. They became professionals. They gave Amrit the world. I guarantee you, I have never talked to Amrit about this ever. I have never talked to Amrit about any politics ever. But I guarantee you, knowing him, he loves being in England. So, and I know some of you may have a different opinion. That's fine. Let's get into that. Let's get into a conversation. And each one of you will have your say, of course. But why in football, if England is about to play against Wales, it's a derby. What is the matter with an Englishman flying their flag and being proud of that? Let me go with Boki here. Boki, what do you make of that? Do you agree with Gary Neville? Do you not agree? What is your stance on this whole situation?
Well, firstly, I'm loving being in the main seat here. It's perfect. In regards to this, Gary Neville is more than welcome to his opinion, but I completely disagree with it. There is no racism flying an English or a UK flag or a Union flag anywhere in the UK. You go to any other country and look around, they have flags flying. I've got absolutely no problem whatsoever with it. If anything, it makes us proud to be British. It makes us proud to be English. And there's no racism in that whatsoever. In regards to him raising that point about white middle-aged men, well, I disagree with him. He's a white middle-aged man, and he's a socialist, and he's full of shit, to be honest. You've sat us in the wrong
socialist.
You've sat us in the wrong seat if you want us to sit and try to stand up for Gary Neville, because I don't agree with. I think anybody who knows us, anybody who's been on this channel, and I've done things that are right and wrong in regards to this, but with any sort of racism or any sort of bullying or anything like that, I'm always on the side of the people who are being wronged. But nobody's being wronged with us flying a British flag or an English flag. It just shows our patriotism, and I think Gary Neville just, as I say, he's welcome to his opinion. He hasn't done it on a football channel or anything like that. He's done it on his own social media, which is fine.
Yeah, of course. Which, by the way,
full of crap.
It seems like Sky Sports is getting hammered by canceling requests from people, probably on the far right, to cancel Neville, which I think is the wrong thing as well. He can entitled to say whatever the hell he wants. And he's also entitled to be wrong, like I think he is in this particular moment. Just imagine if somebody else had said middle-aged Mexican, middle-aged Indian man. Imagine what would happen. He wouldn't have a job. That's a fact. He wouldn't have a job. Although he said it, as you think, on the streets, on his own, he still wouldn't have a job. And I think that hypocrisy is not good for anybody in this country or in your country or anywhere else. So why the need to insult? Why the need to go there over flying a simple flag? If you don't want to fly your flag in your building, whatever, then shut the hell up and just take the flag off. If you hate England that much, then do it. But he is a public person. He's got followers, and he knows people will listen to him. So let me go with Mighty Win. And again, I have not talked about politics with any of these guys. I know Mighty Win a little bit, obviously not a little bit. I know where he stands on things because he's old and he always has wants somebody to vent. But having your, obviously not going too off the edge here, but be honest to yourself and say what you absolutely feel and mean, because you are a little long in the tooth, as I see Gary as well. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to know you guys' opinion on the stance of your country as far as that you can enjoy the very sport that you have invented. I don't know that you've seen it before like this, to where you simply cannot even fly your flag without somebody calling you a racist or whatever. So what do you have to say, Mighty Win?
Well, the first thing he got wrong was when he was implying that flying the flag was the province of only white, middle-aged, middle-class men. Because I think he's missing out on the bulk of people who are not middle class at all, but white, working class men who are more and more feeling disenfranchised because they are being targeted. And even in schools now, children are being told that our history is bad with relation to slavery and everything that goes with that. And it is becoming a crime in your own country to be a patriot, to be proud of being English and what Englishness stands for.
We abolished slavery.
Of course we did, yeah. And slavery, by the way, had gone on for thousands of years before we ever embraced it. We were the first country to abolish it.
And again, I don't want to get too much into these, specifically in these topics. If you want to be honest about it, Brazil, who has a large popularity of African descended people, or African descended people, or other really ethnicities other than white, were the last countries to abolish slavery. But I don't want to get into too much into that. Where the football, you just want to, if some people use it the wrong way, then blame those people, get those people in trouble, talk about those people. Why does the vast majority of English fans, because when we do England, this is not the first time we brought this up, by the way. I have asked this question out of ignorance to a certain extent, because when I watch football, I see every country. You look at the Netherlands, I mean, their whole fans are all but orange. They're all everything orange. Everything is orange. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. That's crazy, isn't it? Crazy good. And I've gotten to doing England games, and I keep going to Mighty Win. I keep talking to Gary. I was like, what is wrong with your fans? You talk about all these, we're proper fans, this and that, but you don't, you guys are not even. I remember the Beckham years, when people used to paint their faces white and red with the red cross.
And let me take you back just that far, because then when there was a World Cup or a Euros, when you were out on the streets, you would see literally hundreds of cars driving around with a little pennants on the cars with a cross of St. George. That's all but disappeared now. And it's because people have been made to feel ashamed of flying. St. Patrick's Day, the whole place is done up. St. George's Day, there's one pub in the town does anything.
Well, I used to live in North London for many years, and it was in the middle of a big Greek community, Cypriot and Greek community. So whenever Greece did well, like in the World Cup or whatever, they'd all be out driving all night with their flags flying from their cars and stuff like that, not causing anybody any trouble, just enjoying the party. And people, I mean, people in London have learned to be tolerant, and I respect them for that because of how many different factions of race have come into that environment. But nobody is up in arms about the Greek people, celebrating a win or whatever, and but with this question, you see, I think you've got to contextualize it. You, at a sporting event, if you are flying a flag, it's basically displaying which country or which team, whatever, that you are supporting, right? And that is innocent, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You're encouraging the athletes by showing the flag, and yes, we're here to support you. But and this is what happens when the politicians and the do-gooders and everything start getting involved, they actually weaponize the flag, and it's used, right, as a statement, which is it's weaponizing it really to represent something that it shouldn't, and it doesn't. And I was watching one of Billy Moore's videos the other day where he was in Newcastle, and there were protests going on in Newcastle just recently, I think it was, and you had a pro-Palestinian event going on, a couple of hundred people, and they're all shouting for free Palestine and this, that, and the other. I'm not going to say whether I'm for it or against it, because what's going to happen is going to happen.
Right.
But the thing is, the police were stopping people waving St. George's and Union Jacks and stuff like that. Now, if you're going to be stupid enough to go on the fringe of a protest that is pro-Palestinian, and the Palestinian people maybe in it, and other people that wanted to voice their opinion and bring the attention to, I don't know, government or whatever, if you're going to be stupid enough to stand next to them and start waving a St. George's flag, that can only be seen as antagonism.
I could agree I do agree. If somebody, if there's a protest, which they're free to do and they're entitled to do,
they're entitled to do it, but it's a bit of a dumb thing to do. And
it could be as well.
But with Gary Neville,
what do you expect? What do you expect the reaction to be? And apart from that, why, even if they are waving the St. George's flag, what's that got to do with the issue in Palestine? It's not. It's got nothing to do with the British public. So why start, turning one against the other? That's what these people do, because it just gives them attention, and they seem to think it strengthens their cause. But you've got to remember as well that most of the people that do this haven't got a clue what they're talking about. They just think it's a good idea. They've never thought into it deeply enough, and they don't research history. They don't see what it is that they're actually representing, and how it's been represented in the past in other areas. They just think like, right, let's jump on this bandwagon and free on the cause, but they think they've got some kind of moral stance when really they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know the trouble that they're actually causing, rather than fixing a situation. They're just putting a fire out with petrol, and it's their own stupidity. You can't say that they're not allowed to do it. They're just irresponsible people.
With Gary Neville, the point is with Gary Neville is it's him being slightly racist in that.
Can you guys hear me?
Well, can
now.
in regards to the flags being flown, him saying it's down to white middle
Can you hear
class
me?
men, which is like me.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is like me. It's taking out the fact that that flag isn't just for me. It's not just for people like Wynne. It's not just for people like Gary, but it's Ahmed's and it's Jefferson's flag as well.
Well, but I think that's the disservice right there. That's
That's where the racism comes in. Is actually from Gary Neville.
I was going to say that
it's white people that
because
only support the
For
flag.
me, that's my point, right? Because if Gary Neville's going to come out with a statement like that, he should name names, right? He should generalize. He should name
there are
names.
a lot. That's the disservice that Gary Neville does understand, because there are a lot of. He mentioned that there's only white middle-aged men that want the flag.
Middle-aged, middle class.
And so that's a disservice because there are a lot of black people. Hold on, there are a lot of black people that want the flag, that love the flag, and want to wave their flag. There are a lot of Hispanic people in England that want to wave their flag. A lot of Indian people that want to wave their flag. Ambert, let me get your take on this whole, because you're Indian with Indian-born parents. So what's your opinion?
You can hear me all right, can't you? So basically, for me, my story, born in this country in Newcastle General Hospital, to two Indian nationals, who my mother's now become a British citizen. My dad maintained his Indian citizenship. And for me, I've made a few notes here, because when you think of the flag, whether it be the Union Jack, the St. George flag, the St. Andrew flag, the St. Patrick flag, whichever one it is, when you're thinking about United Kingdom and that flag, I automatically think about ships, battlefields. I think about Buckingham Palace. I think about the British military history. For me, if I had to play football or cricket I was close. I would have to play cricket for England, and England is my country, and England is now my mother's country. So flying that flag, first things first, we show the flag respect. The flag, when you're in India, the flag must never touch the floor. Same thing goes for the Union Jack flag that I have here. It must never touch the floor. We respect it. We love it. It is our pride and joy to have that flag. It is our right to be able to wave that flag where we want to. It is our national identity to want to fly that flag. Yeah, there are a number of contested meanings behind the flag, and this is what Gary was alluding to, and probably what Gary Neville's alluding to in a stupid way. He didn't think about it. He's probably thinking, "Why the hell did I post that?" Because he hasn't said what he meant to say.
Probably not, because he usually is pretty stern on this.
So contested meaning for me, Chris, is that it has been co-opted by far-right groups. It has been brought in. It complicates the meaning of the flag. The flag's meaning is for pride, is for togetherness, is for fight together. We are British. We are one. Yeah. Whereas for this contested meaning, where people are bringing out the flag and St. George's flag in areas that aren't one of the things.
You just dropped a picture off the back of the wall.
That's my foreman-ness going on here. But yeah, people sometimes take that the wrong way, and that is where we're at now. Am I scared of throwing a flag up? Hell no. I'm thinking about getting a 10-meter pole put in the back garden today and flying that flag, just to say that we are British, we are unified, we are all one, and we love our country. We love it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to get to Jefferson, because you've been with some comments on the chat there. You feel pretty strong about this particular topic. So, what is your take on this whole situation? Why can't football fans fly their flag without being called names?
Yeah, I think, look, everybody knows the context at the moment. Everybody knows the country's becoming more and more divided by these kind of egotistical, sadistic people who are really trying to break the country. We've already been through the trauma of, COVID and everything like that. we see that society's already struggled with its divisions. We no longer have that sort of neighborly functions like we once did, and now you've got these idiots trying to capitalize, dividing the country. You know, we saw 100,000 idiots marching in the streets, preaching absolute hate, disgraceful. And I think what the conversation needs to be about is how can we reclaim the flag, because it's not really about the flag being offensive. The flag is offensive on the context of how it's being used in its current form.
Correct.
Everybody knows what the flag is and what it stands for. I went to watch the rugby Premiership final. The flag was raised high above Twickenham. Did that offend me? No. We sang the national anthem. It's our national anthem. Everyone is patriotic. Everybody loves the country. But unfortunately, there's these pretty much as close to Nazis as you can get. They're utilizing and abusing our national flag. Now, I know people that have stickers on the back of their cars, and it's from legacy old football tournaments and stuff like that. That's fine. I've got England kits, and you guys would have seen me on 90s mags. We covered the Euros. I was wearing my England kit. Was I offended then? No, I'm not offended. But you have to consider minorities. And we've got these thugs running around. They're assaulting people. They're intimidating people. They're being racist. Let's call that shit out. So if you are a minority and then you're suddenly seeing a flag pop up when it wasn't there before, what does that mean? Especially if there's these idiots on social media saying, show your flag, this and that. So let's be real. We know the connotations behind it. Let's not pick and choose when we decide to be patriotic. Yeah? And very simple. Anyone far right, don't talk to me ever again. Real talk. Like, get it.
I'm not for
No, I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it now. Straight up. I'm calling this bullshit out, innit?
Hold on. Calm down. Everybody calm down.
All right, but it's your flag as well.
No. You didn't hear what I'm saying. I'm talking about the political ideology. I'm not talking about raising your flag. But listen, the question I've got to ask you is the question I have to ask you is, why hasn't your flag been up all year round? Why are you only raising it now?
Well,
why are you only raising it now? For those that have had it up before, I'm not talking to them. That's fine. Because
but you're
raising it now. Are you raising it now because Tommy Robinson's asked you to raise it up?
But who knows? But why do you make that assumption? I don't have an American flag outside my house, but I've been thinking about it.
Chris.
No, it isn't actually.
The French history is different. The Irish history is different. It's different.
But it's
your country was part of an empire the same way mine was.
We need to
and then I saw someone in the chat. Saying, "Oh, my parents fought in the war, whatever that is." We all did, yeah. And this is the problem. They're dividing everyone. All our ancestors contributed towards building this country. This country back up after it was bombed to shit by the Germans, and we're then behaving the same as the Germans. If you wake up and smell the coffee, the Nazism is there to see.
Hold on.
It's your flag as well. It's your flag.
I haven't said. Did you hear what I said, Boki?
Yeah, I've heard exactly what you've said.
I sang God Save the King.
You're looking at the flag as a racist. It's a racist.
You're not. It's because you're not hearing me, bro.
No, but hold on.
Everybody flag as well.
Everybody be quiet. I don't want to mute mics. So just be quiet for a second. Let's calm down and swallow our saliva for a second. Take a moment, because I want to understand this thought process. So I moved to England, and I'm moving to England. I want to honor the England flag because I'm moving to England. The country is receiving me. I don't know none of this stuff going on that Jefferson is. I'm about to find out. So, but as I'm going to honor this country that's receiving me, I'm putting the flag up. You, based on the way you came out with this, Jefferson, you think because I didn't have it all year, all of a sudden because I raised it up, it's got to be something to do with this Robinson kid or whatever. But or maybe I'm raising it up right now because we're about to play Wales, so I'm all about it. Not the Union Jack, or let's say the English flag, because we're about to play Wales. Why? You're my neighbor. Why are you going to be offended because I'm doing it?
There
I'm
is
asking you a simple question.
there is xenophobic and racist rhetoric out there.
Of course there is. And you're
And
not going to get rid of that, by the way.
there is a campaign. So you probably arguably do need to distinguish, are you with them or you're not with them? And I liked, was it Jewson? There was the racist that they put the England flag, but everybody knew what that was about. And then someone added, everyone is welcome here. And I love that. That's what we need. We need more unity, not division. We are feeding into that. If you wanted to have your flag, you could have had your flag up any time of the week. Why are you choosing now? If you're choosing now, I think it's very evident what's going on here. It's as simple as that.
No,
And there are
don't
people like myself. Don't get me wrong, I can handle myself, innit? I'm a big lad. I'll tell you for free.
Yeah.
I can handle myself. But there are certain people that can't. And in certain areas, people do not feel safe. People do
Right.
not feel safe. And there's reason for that, because on social media, people are being xenophobic. Organized groups. We've seen marches. And whether Gary Neville executed it or not, the principles were there. He's someone with popularity, and he's trying to use his platform for good. Whether he executed it or not, again, it's open to debate. We saw the likes of previously, Marcus Rashford during the COVID time trying to feed hungry kids. So occasionally celebrities will try and use their platform for some kind of, public good. But I think if you read between the lines, all he's trying to say is it's not about not being patriotic. We know
No,
the
that's fine.
connotations of the flag and everything like that. I don't think
No,
people are offended by the flag
but
per se.
because
We're disgusting of it. It's the timing
right,
of it and the usage
right.
of it. Do you see what I'm
But
saying?
because of
Yeah, well,
but
so that's
because of
what
how
you're busy. Hang on, can I just say something here? Because Gary summed it up perfectly when he said the flag is being weaponized.
Yeah,
it is by
So
both
when it absolutely by both sides. So when Keir Starmer stood up at the Labour Congress with the Union Jack behind him, Unite Britain or whatever the slogan was, and at the same time, Nigel Farage, for example, whenever he appears, he's always got the... So that both factions are trying to do it. Both factions, political factions, are trying to say, if you don't support us, you don't support the country.
My issue is because these two folks that you're
Add a
talking
bit of
about, and I'm
add a
very-
bit of levity to it, 2 secs, because Corey's put in a
sorry
super
about
chat.
Sorry about
Having
that, Corey.
talk sport, Gary Neville, and then Simon Jordan back to back is some form of torture.
And we're gonna get to one more clip. Gary, go.
Can I bring a bit of levity in? And it's actually it's right on this subject, right? Of you can say something, and I'm Amrit, I don't want you to leave.
No, well, he's
Right.
there.
I'm here.
Because this involves you, right?
Yeah.
And of course, this is where, right, you can say something and people can say, oh, that's racist, that's racist, that's racist, right? Amrit, I mean this, well, I'm going to say something, right? I'm a little joke that I thought, right? And it's something that just happened to you a few minutes ago, right? Now, this is a joke, right? And it's meant with the best intentions, and it's meant to be funny, right?
It's
Playing
crazy
on,
to put a joke.
playing on your nationality, right? But you had a picture just drop off your wall, yeah?
Yeah.
So what came to my mind was, does that mean you're Indian, yeah? So does that mean you've got a baldy ghost? A baldygeist?
A poltergeist.
You don't even know because he's so British right now. He don't even know. He don't know that.
No pun intended.
No, does that mean that he's got
a good
no?
baldy.
So I can say like, oh, you must have a baldygeist, right? Now, some people are going to say, but that's racist. That's racist. Of course, it's not. It's one person to another meant as just a light-hearted bit of banter.
Correct.
Right, and but people would take issue with that, right? But it's because you've got small factions of people who have got nothing better to do than stir up trouble to bring attention to themselves, bring people on board with what they're doing. And at the end of the day, these people will probably benefit financially from it all. And so you've got these factions in these groups, you know, that call themselves this, that, and the other. Britain for the British, England for the English, and all this type of thing. But these people are nothing more than ignorant agitators. They can stand there and they can spout their rubbish all day long, right?
Yeah.
And all they'll come up with is things that can't be disproven rather than facts, right? And you get this a lot when people pose their opinions, right? They will state an opinion as a fact when really it's just actually a statement that can't actually be disproven, but it doesn't make it right. And this is what's happening here. And you've got these small factions of people who basically are just out and out thugs. You know, they're not in it for any benefit other than to agitate and upset people. You know, if they really felt the way they are, they would do it in a way that is
more sensible way.
Yes, if they want to form a political party.
I think part of the problem is that people aren't likes of New Jefferson. You're not seeing the Union flag as your flag, and it is. You're as much entitled to that flag as I am.
That's what I was going to say. When Jefferson said
that, I'm not saying that. I
thank you. You see that flag flying, it's for you as well, lad. It's not just for me.
I agree. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the question should be, how can we wrestle it back from the racists? Because at the moment,
we're all loving it and just watching it as a flag.
Because the timing is right. Because it's creating trauma and anguish for people who don't feel safe and who have been attacked. I have spoken to someone who's been confronted on a march with his teeth punched in by racists.
Right, but what about
the history? We know the history. We know the history in the country, guys. It's not a proud one.
But at some point, everybody has to leave history where it's at.
But Chris, that hasn't affected you, my brother. In all due respect.
No, I'm sorry, but you can't say that.
No, I can say that. Do you know
I'm
why?
a Hispanic brown male in rural America. You cannot tell me what I'm or not.
I'm not saying your struggle is any less than mine. I'm not saying that. Like the same way Amrit would have had struggles, or his family would have had struggles. But it's
your struggle is worse.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's no secret about the history of 400 years of slavery and 15 million people that died. And guess what? Right. It's Black History season. It's now Black History season, right? So it's a time of heightened emotion for me and my people and other people of color as well. Let's be sensitive around it.
When you talk about football fans, because hold on, because we're talking about football fans being able to be free and do as they please with and when the World Cup is coming up. England is about to play this Thursday. So you say that people need to basically cater to your feelings and people that think like you feelings. But what about the people that now feel scared to even utter the thought of flying now an English flag, because all of a sudden they're going to be threatened, as you said, somebody that you talked to was threatened on the other end. But now, how about these other people's feelings, these other people's thoughts that they can't even fly their flag or paint their face because of football reasons? Because we're talking about football here to a certain extent. And there's no way you can only keep it football. You obviously have to talk about the other things. But what about their sentiments that they now feel threatened and feel? And that's not, by the way, saying these are white people only, because there are Black people, white people, Hispanic people, Indian people, people from Muslim people that want to fly their flag, but all of a sudden they can't because somebody might come towards them and threaten them because they're simply flying their flag, and they might think it's because of some other political reason, but they're simply doing it because they feel proud of their country, or they want to do it because of the games coming up, or whatever other reason. What about those people's sentiments?
Yeah. So that I would say Jefferson said it right. He said it at the start. We need to reclaim our flag. We need to reclaim it and put it and make it what it used to be. That's something is a respect. It's a respect level. There are cases. It's been co-opted by far right groups, and it complicates the meaning of the flag, which makes its display politically sensitive. And that is a fact. But what Jefferson did say was reclaim the flag.
What I'm saying is, why should flying the flag of your own country be politically sensitive?
Because it's been co-opted by far right groups, and it has.
But what if that person flying it isn't? It got nothing to do with politics.
Well, that's the thing. So that's what I'm saying is now.
It's the assumption is that's the issue.
That's the issue, but it needs to be. This is the flag. We are proud. We all stand united as one. No matter what religion or culture you are, you're British.
We keep on talking about this Robinson guy. We keep talking about Farage. We keep talking about Keir Starmer. Those fools are rich people that could care less, and they make their living off all of you English folks, because I'm not English, so I can't include myself. So they make a living out of you, because as long as they keep you divided and where you can't even do the smallest things, that's how they win. All of this is how they win. And now we're seeing that impact football more than ever. Football, man, it's a game. You see what I'm saying? And well, that is my issue.
The Olympics, you don't fly any flags in the Olympics anymore? I mean, it's just, it's crazy. And if apart from that, if we just want to say, it's like, take this country, if you have somebody who migrates to this country, that's good. It's fine. Nothing wrong with that. If they come in here, make a better life for themselves. I mean, I think of these poor souls, coming here from Syria and Ukraine, and the horrors that they've had to experience, and so they come here for a sense of safety and refuge, and we give them that, then we should be proud of ourselves. But when people then start complaining that you are behaving in an English manner and supporting, your team flying the flag, and they take offence to that, there has to be a realisation that these people are now in England, right? And you can't apply the rules of your country where you've come from and override ours. You have to be respectful. But you're not going to go to France and start taking offence because somebody's got a French flag up and say, no, that's racist, and that this is what's happening in this country, and we've allowed it to happen. I mean, the trouble is with it now, and Jefferson said an interesting thing earlier, but it's too late because it's happened. And Jefferson said, how do you solve this? Jefferson, you don't solve it, because once it's here and once it's there is no solving it. You would have to become completely dictatorial in order to eradicate it. And then what you're doing is becoming a regime rather than a society and a democracy. So therefore, once it's in for good. It's almost like a cancer. You might be able to control it a little bit, but you're not going to get rid of it, because you can't tell people how to think, or you can't stop people thinking. They're going to think anyway, right? No matter how wrong it might be, whatever, you cannot stop a person from thinking. And if that's the way they choose to think, then you're going to be faced with that all, forever. And you can't tell people how they should think, which is what these people, these factions, are trying to get us to do, but we don't do it to them, right? And if we did, it would be wrong. But you've got, people are free to think the way they think. Whether it's right or wrong, you're never going to be able to stop them because you can't stop a person thinking.
And
You have to accept it and try and deal with it. And this is where government lets the British people down, because they should be standing up and looking after the welfare. That's why they voted in the first place, to look after the
I don't
welfare of the population, right? But the trouble is, you see, with politicians, they're on a mission, and the only people that they think about is themselves and how they better their own selves and get richer from their position. Abusing their privileges.
You can educate people.
Yes, you can.
You can educate people on what is acceptable and what isn't. And I think that's a big problem in this country at the minute, that we in schools and things, we don't tend to discuss, and I don't want to get political, but we don't tend to discuss the past in regards to what Britain was, in regards to slavery and things like that, and what it is now. And that's a lot of the issues.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But the thing is, Bogey, with that, you're then running into the area of, if you want to talk about history and you don't educate them at schools, right? You run the risk of brainwashing them, because you're telling them how they should see things, right? You're not allowing them to be free to make up their own minds on things. If you start telling them in school how they should be thinking, and this way of thinking is right, then that is very, very dangerous.
No, Gary, that's completely wrong. That's not what I said. I said educate people.
That's how you would implement it.
Education, brainwashing people.
There's nothing wrong with education as long as you tell the truth. And sometimes the truth is hard hearing, but you just got to tell people the truth, and they can make their assumptions. Now the country is a different country, so as long as you tell people the truth.
Yeah, fine. So you can take.
That's why it's called history.
My main issue, though, again, listen.
You can educate them about, say, Guy Fawkes, right, trying to blow up the Houses of Parliament, right? Now, they are aware of that. Kids are taught about that in school, right? They're not told why it happened and what it was about, but, right, if they want to go and find out about it themselves, because that was actually an IRA plot, right? It was an Irish plot to blow up the British government. Right.
That's too political, though. I'll have to stop you there, Gary, because that's too political. We're talking about people that could care less about anybody. I'm telling you, I've brought this up before many times. When I was a young kid, one of the greatest memories I have of football, watching the World Cup in 2006, and also watching around the same time frame, England versus Greece, I believe, David Beckham with the ball on his feet, scoring. And I thought, I just could not ever believe fans like that. And I'm South American, where they're proper fans, and atmosphere is never an issue. Looking at that now, back and over and over and over again, where you see people of all colors, people of all ethnicities, people of everybody flying the same flag, the St. George's flag, everybody together, where it was not about Liverpool, Man United. It was never about Arsenal, Tottenham. They hated each other, but they said, this is our turn. We're together now. It's not about Newcastle, Geordies, or the Mackhams. All of that was aside. Everybody was together, like Jefferson was saying, together for one cause. And this is just football. Football, to beat whoever is in front of it, right? No matter who it is. Now I believe, because British people, when I say British people, some people think that's white people. No. British people are all different colors, just like American people. But if I'm British right now and I'm playing a country, let's go there. Let me play an African country where it's predominantly black, obviously. And I'm bantering. And if I want to banter now and wave the flag and say, we're going to beat you, man. We're going to beat you. Watch. We're going to knacker you. That right there today is going to be racist. And I think it's a shame that this world has become what it is now. that you simply can't just banter. You simply can't just do the simple things that back watching that free kick as you guys were talking. Now is everybody was together then celebrating one guy's score.
Chris, it's because it's been politicized.
I agree with that, but let Jefferson have his, he hasn't been in a while.
So the context is that historically, if you look at parties like the BNP, the British National Party, you had a group called Britain First. You've had in historically the EDL. I know we're talking about two different flags, talking about the Union Jack and then St George's flag as well. They have been abused for these quite heinous causes, in my opinion, and disgraceful beliefs, which for some reason humanity isn't understanding. The history of what 1920s Italy and 1930s Germany. It's like it's on repeat there. So I don't know what's going on. So when you're talking about David Beckham in 2001, yes, there was historical racial tensions back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, but Great Britain was in a good place then. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not going to be an anchor point for tension or division. And actually, if we look in recent times, I think about the Olympics. I think about the royal wedding. Even recently, the Queen's funeral, King Charles's coronation. People are having like street parties with the flags. The community was together, man. There was no division. There was no arguing because these racist voices were kept at bay. No one's listening to that stuff. Why aren't we looking into this? This is where it becomes a problem. The flag has been hijacked. Yeah. Now, we all do it. If we go on holiday, everyone suddenly becomes British times 500. I don't know about you guys. You know what I mean? Right. So it's not like no one's not proud of their nation. Everybody is. Right. When we watch the games on the TV. Yeah, go on.
If I may then, because I saw a comment there that comes from an Englishman, because I know James Cuff is an Englishman from London. I'm not. Maybe I'm looking at it from the American perspective where I'm at, where the flag of the United States, it's kind of turning into that way a little bit. But here we fly, I mean, it's very patriotic. Throw confetti, flags flying everywhere for all kinds of reasons. But James Cuff is saying, Chris, he's maybe educating me. I want to get your takes on this. Chris, historically, flying the flag is very different here than in the U.S. We only really flew flags at St. George's Day during the World Cup, etc. Why are people flying it now then? Well, if my mistake is assuming that you guys always had this, that you always flew your flag with no apparent holdback, then that's my mistake. But if it's not in your culture to do that, then I could go towards what you're saying, that all of a sudden it does look weird that people are flying your flag. So you guys are all Englishmen. Educate me. Does James have a point there? Because if you really flying your flag is not a thing, then all of a sudden it's becoming one. So
it was a thing back in the day when Mighty Win was mentioning it. That my dad even had a St. George's cross on his car during Euro '96 and so on and so forth, around those times where it was definitely a thing, flying a flag. So in certain aspects of, especially when it comes to, England football, there was a lot of flags flying around.
I think what we need to turn around as well is that the English flag, or the Union flag, because it's not a Union Jack unless it's flown on a ship, but the Union flag are racist in any way. What we need is for everyone just to come under the umbrella of it's our flag. And if bloody Tommy Robinson or Nigel Farage wants to make it racist, then we need to
shut them down. Shut them down.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier.
Hold on. Let me.
Whoa.
What did you mean about shutting down?
does the same thing.
Yeah, because Germany learnt from the past. I heard Germany in their recent elections. No. Their fascist party, I think, was like third or second or something. And as soon as they saw him as a threat, they just shut him down. Good. Get him out of the way. Because then history's just repeating itself, guys.
Well,
and then people that are coming in the chat saying, my ancestor did this, my ancestor did that to liberate us. Are we going to go back to square one? Are we going to be as bad as them? So we have to learn.
Well, that's never going to happen.
It doesn't matter about your class or your color. We are the human race. We are human people.
But we are also British.
Yeah, and we are British and British and proud, but it doesn't mean what's the word?
Jefferson,
We should be elitist over others.
Jefferson, you are
And
completely and utterly
and
right.
and the way
Right?
the news
But
talks about it, you'd think they're on the shores, ready to invade us, ready to take over. No, it's to create mass hysteria, panic, and division. So I
Yeah,
go back
those
through
people.
time. How
Those
happy,
people are,
how
and
happy
call
was
them
your
out.
memories during the Olympics? How happy was your memories during when we were having tea parties and all this stuff? Yeah, communities fused together. There was no hate. There was no even talk about a flag. That's what we need to be talking about. And actually, instead of jumping on Neville, whether he executed it well or not, some of the points he's made are valid. It's as simple as that, guys. There's
Jefferson,
racism, xenophobia, and hatred. Let's get rid of it from this country.
you're
It's
dead,
disgraceful.
Jefferson. You're dead right. Right. But the problem is you have these small factions of people, right, that will weaponize it.
That's
They
not.
will, they will, they will use what you're saying, right, as a weapon, as a means to cause disturbance and unrest, right? And it will build, they will get simple minded people to join the ranks who can't think for themselves. And so they just follow the flow, right? And what's happening with these people is whilst they're doing this, they're getting a bit notoriety and they're earning money out of it, right? And so therefore they will continue with that, right? It gets them in the limelight. It gives them a bit of attention, this, that, and the other, and they're not bothered how much hurt or pain that they cause other people because they're only in it for themselves, right? And what you've just said is completely right, but the trouble is they've twisted it. What you're saying, they've twisted it to use it as a weapon to turn people against each other, right? And it's all for their own benefit and their own notoriety, rather than for the common good, right? I mean, you're dead right. Everything you said is absolutely spot on. But you've got what it is you've got to stop these people doing that, and then they'll turn around and say, "But it's a democracy. I'm free to do what I want. I've got a voice, and I'm going to voice it." But they do it in such a way that it just causes it creates hate, and a negativity and the whole bit. But at the bottom line is, like any politician, Farage is a great example. All the time, while these people are getting on the television and they're getting airtime, and the movement is growing in numbers,
both sides.
all the time they're getting that. They're making more
Right.
and more money out of it, and that.
We got.
So they're just going to keep doing that, And
Yeah. Well, that's why, unfortunately, man, it's so inflamed at the moment. It's not going to stop. That's why I think normal, regular people need to just lower the rhetoric, man, on both sides, because simple games like football cannot be enjoyed anymore, and that is the issue that we're raising here, because obviously we're a football channel, but obviously there's bigger fish to fry on that end that
Quick,
I don't
can I
see.
say one thing real quick, a positive thing? I saw
Yeah.
that there was a positive protest march in Newcastle. Was it last week or the week before? So big up them people that were saying, we're not racist, like we welcome everyone. Do you know what I mean? We're not all for hate. So, by the way, I want it to be like, it's not like I'm saying people
Voldemort welcomed him.
I'm not saying people from the northeastern region are bad. Actually, they came out in their droves to kind of show a good version of themselves that, people believe in, just like being good people, essentially, in equality.
Yeah. Let's go with some of these comments. Let's go with some. We're gonna go with some of these comments, and for both sides of the aisle, and
Jefferson,
then
all
we're
around
gonna.
the world, the world is full of good people, right? We all feel the same pain. We all bleed the same blood, right? It's the color of your skin is completely immaterial. We all live, right, on the planet. We all generally, without these small groups of people, would get on, right? Because we recognize that we are just people like anybody else. We're just people. Whether you're in Kathmandu or London, you still love your children the same way that you love your children anyway. If anything bad happens to you, you feel the same pain, you feel the same loss, everything like that. And generally, people recognise that in each other. It's just
That's right, and I think it should be normal. I'm just saying the whole point of this, it should be normal for somebody from Uganda to fly the Ugandan flag. It should be flying the British flag if you're British. It should never be attached really to any sort of thing. If people are appropriating it for their evil beliefs, then attack them. But not everybody that just doing their own thing. That's trying to be there. Let's go with the comments here. The Keegan statue says, unfortunately, racist thugs wave the English flag, and so it's got a negative image outside of football or Royals. Safir says, so it's a black man who has fought for this country in the ME. What is ME? Military.
Middle East.
Oh, Middle East. Okay. I'm not allowed to fly the flag. Am I a traitor to my black heritage? What a load of rubbish, says him. Alessandro Benetti here. If I can't fly my flag, then I don't want to see someone else fly theirs. That's crap. Why would I watch someone from Palestine fly their flag? Has nothing to do with me. Well, that's their opinion. James Cuff here. Curtis, historically, we read that one, I think. Historically, flying the flag is very different here than in the U.S. We only flew flags on St. George's Day. I thought it was St. George's Day. I figured that would be.
Nobody flies a flag on St. George's Day.
Should be a day off. That should be.
It should be a national holiday, exactly. There's only one pub in Newcastle puts bunting up for St. George's Day. They all put it up for St. Patrick's Day.
Because it's easy.
St. George's Day.
It's easy now for business people to say, man, we're not even going to be bothered. We like this bread. We're not going to jeopardize it for some flag. So that's kind of how it goes as well, Safir, it says, my family are originally from Nigeria. We were one of the biggest exporters of slaves in the world. Doesn't stop me from loving where my family originated or where I was born, served in this country. Everybody's got their opinion, of course. We'll leave that one for last. James Cuff, 100% Jefferson, he says. Keegan statue, Chris flying the English flag has never been a big thing other than footy Royals in England. It is now because of the anti-refugee sentiment among some. Adrian Pickett here. It's a massive distraction from our failures of the oligarchy. And at the end there, Corey D, can we just go back to Chris yelling that win for an hour and a half? There we go. I think we're gonna definitely
Mind man.
Chris, can I move back to my natural position because I don't feel comfortable here?
You don't feel comfortable, man? We're gonna put you to the right, man. You're far right now.
Thank you.
The next, that's
that was funny.
It's insane. What do we got here? Let me see. What can we end this show on, and what note? Let me see here. We're gonna put something up. But England's coming up, man. We got to get together for England. I mean, come on. The players need the help. Everybody, come on now. Gary, you an England fan?
I lost interest watching them.
Knackered, man.
I just find them so disappointing. Generally, people have to remember England as a national side aren't particularly good. So it's all right getting behind them.
They're not good now. Come on, man. They're doing their thing.
But it's all right getting behind them, and you can build your hopes up. But the trouble is, I just can't deal with the disappointment of watching them play poorly. And when you know for a fact that they're capable of much better. It comes down to whatever manager you've got in and the system he's playing, this, that, and the other. But there might be big names in the sport and this, that, and the other. But when it comes to a collective team, England, I can't deal with it.
Well, we're going to call you. We're going to call you.
They need Eddie.
We've never had a proper manager. That's why.
We're going to call you into the England reaction. All of you here.
Eddie for
England. We need to represent for England, and I want to end it on this wonderful goal that made me an England fan. That's unbelievable because I thought England does resemble, or we resemble England here in America. Obviously, that could be the other way around. And I thought, man, that's crazy. I wish that's one time ever, you're never going to hear this again, where I thought we should be more like England with the fans, Obviously, as far as football, because obviously football here is not. I mean, it's getting bigger, but it's not as big as it would be in England. So, and I thought this is unbelievable that. And when he bent it, you know who it is. When he bent it, I mean, look at that bold. One thing about Beckham, he always looked good in everything else, and everything bold, with anything on. And listen, I'm very much a straight man.
He didn't look very good in his sarong.
I can remember what pub I was in when he scored.
Where were you in this pub? Because all of you twats are old enough. Don't even try to make it like you weren't. Where were you? Because I know everybody. Because
I was in the City Tavern. I was in the City Tavern.
I was in there last night.
Where were you at when Beckham did this? When he brought all of England together for one club.
Can I tell you a quick story about this? I'll tell you a quick story about this, right? And you might think, oh, yeah. But I said to the people around me, I says, he's going to score this, right? And I was absolutely sure of it. I knew it was going to go in before he even kicked it. And the reason why is he'd had about 5-siders before then that were just going over, or he hadn't found his mark yet. And I just knew he'd had enough practice that this one was going right into the top corner. And
Did you say siders? I think I would have thought about had 5 siders.
So, Boki, where were you at when this happened?
I was in the Anson and Wall's End.
And was it? Oh, okay, yeah. Amrit, where were you?
I was at home. A good boy.
He wasn't even watching. He was out watching India versus.
I was at home. I was at home watching it with my brother.
How old were you then?
So that would be when I was.
You were about 30, man. Stop lying.
26.
And Jefferson, them young looks, wasn't even born.
And you better Gary that Jefferson wasn't like he was 30 by the time this was out. But where were you at?
Me and Winwine were 50s, weren't we, Win?
Sadly.
Where were you at when this happened?
I think I was watching it with a friend. I think a friend had come over to watch it with me. I think I was about 15 at the time.
If I'm not mistaken, this was if he didn't score, England didn't make it to the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
we have to win it.
You've got to think. I think
this is like the 92nd minute or something.
And the numpty minute.
At the end.
I want to watch this here from the beginning. Actually, let's watch it from the beginning.
Who scored the first goal?
We're gonna get done for copyright.
2-1, didn't we? I can't remember. Was it Sheringham or? Can't remember who got the first goal.
And
2-1.
So let's go.
Foul on Sheringham, free kick.
Numpty foul.
Will Beckham have another attempt to goal?
Post goals. Let's Sheringham. Who's Clifford? Look at that. Come on, man.
We're playing
For
2.5
knackered
minutes
at
of
the moment.
stoppage time. England trail by
Look at
2
that.
goals to 1.
I mean, we're sick.
Beckham could raise the roof here with a goal. I don't believe it. David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
I mean, that's Heskey right there. Oh, who he play for? Heskey.
In Keown as well.
Liverpool at the time.
I knew it was Liverpool, man. And Martin Keown, man, he looks old as hell now.
Was Sheringham, James? Okay, I thought so.
Sheringham, exactly. I mean, just listen to
that
crowd.
That didn't win the game, by the way. That
It was a 2-2, I think.
But the draw was enough.
But look at the crowd, man. That's why we need to get back. Come on, man. We need to get back to this.
Beckham could raise the roof here with a goal.
Wind it.
I don't believe it. David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
I mean, it's really lucky.
Give that man a knighthood.
Oh, that's Mighty Wynn's favorite manager.
It's really lucky that he scored because, I mean, we did so well in the World Cup.
Look at this. Oh, my goodness. It wasn't. Two goalkeepers could have saved that. Who said that this weekend?
Against England are just seconds away from qualification.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what we need to get back to. Unbelievable, David
So
Beckham.
who we're playing next then?
We're playing the Derby, man. It's a Derby. You didn't know that?
England and
Oh,
Wales,
my
is it?
Wales,
no, I
aye.
didn't, because I don't pay that much attention to them, to be honest.
Shame on you, man. Shame on you. See, you're part of the problem too. Lost your patriotism. That's what's wrong with you.
Well, patriotism, sometimes I'll question what it's worth, you know.
What it's worth, really,
Question
right?
what it's worth.
Anyways, folks, listen, we had a livid show today, but you know, it is what it is. It pertained to football for a good part of it. And
I think you're racist there, by the way, Chris.
no. We'll be back at it again. And of course, we're going to obviously not have shows like this, but I wanted to have the show because it's important to bring everybody together and talk about just football, man. It's just, that's all it is. It's simply football. So, and that's also something, by the way, that people use to their advantage, alike the American.
Absolutely.
Not the American,
Chris,
but
and Chris,
sorry,
look at the connections we got. You've got Nobby Solano. You know, I got Christian Atsu. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at that.
There you go. That's good.
And we've got Voldemort.
Voldemort, baby. He's doing proper. He is doing proper job.
Oh,
Anyways,
look, I'll never get tired of saying that.
No. It's been a lovely show. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. Gary and Win at 12 p.m. UK on YouTube, and of course, the late night show at 9:30 p.m. with the latest Newcastle United latest news. We'll be back with that. Thank you very much indeed.
Borgie, lovely talking to you.
See y'all, everyone. We all friends at the end of the day, baby. We're all friends. See you later, folks. Take care.
See you later.